Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to your fourth maths lesson of the week. Today we are going to be looking at bar charts. Our learning objective is, can I draw, read and interpret information from a bar chart? In today's lesson, we will be learning to explain what a bar chart is. We will complete a bar chart together using given data. We will identify and use key information in a bar chart. And finally, we will have a go at drawing a bar chart. Let's get going with our lesson starter. You need to have your whiteboard ready or a piece of paper. I'm going to read you the questions, then I want you to pause your video and have a go at solving them. Question 1. How many children's favourite colour is green? So we need to look at the bar chart. We need to find green and we need to see how many children liked green as their favourite colour. Question number 2. Find the total of £3.25, add £4.78. Remember back to when we were adding amounts in our money unit of work. Question 3. Calculate 84 divided by 4. Question number 4. What is the value of the 4 digit in 451? Pause your video and have a go at solving those questions now. Let's look at our answers. Question 1. How many children's favourite colour is green? So I needed to find green. Then I needed to go across and read. And it's halfway between 4 and 6. So 5 children liked green. If I find the total of £3.25 and £4.78, the answer is £8.03. If I divide 84 by 4, my answer is 21. In our final question, we were thinking about the place value and how much each digit is worth in a number. And we needed to see what the 4 digit represents. And the 4 digit can represent 400, which we could write as 400, or we could write as 400s in words. Let's move on to our new learning. Explain how you think you could use the pictogram to complete the bar chart. Pause your video and have a little think about this for me. So, the first thing I'm going to do is use my pictogram to help me. My key for my pictogram shows me that each circle is equal to 5. So we're going to count how many robins were spotted by counting in 5s. Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20. So 20 robins were shown in total. I will need that information to complete my bar chart. Then I'm going to count how many pigeons were spotted. Can you count with me? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So 35 pigeons were seen in total. The next thing I'm going to do is count the sparrows. Count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 25 sparrows were seen in total. Then I'm going to count the number of doves that were seen. Count with me to find the total. 5, 10. So 10 doves were seen in total. So we can use this information to help us to make a bar chart. A bar chart has a title. The title of this is a bar chart to show the number of birds seen in the garden. And this comes at the top of our bar chart. Then we have two axes. This is one axis, this is the second axis, and these both have a title. So this one shows me the number of birds seen, and we have a scale, so we are counting up in fives. Do you notice that the numbers are next to the square? Then this axis is titled bird. So this is the type of bird that was seen. And this is written in between the square. So we've got robin, pigeon, sparrow and dove. Now we're going to have a go at transferring the information from our pictogram on to the bar chart. So now we are going to have a go at drawing the bar chart together. For this, you will see I have got a writing pencil. I've also got my ruler and I've got some colouring pencils. I have a grid in my book which we're going to draw our graph on, and this is exactly the same as what we have just seen on the slides. I've written the title at the top, which is a bar chart to show the number of birds seen in the garden. I've drawn my two axes and I've drawn these in blue to help you to see them. I've labelled my two axes. The title for this axis is bird. Then I've split it into 4. Each part is the same length. So we've got 3 squares, 3 squares, 3 squares, and 3 squares. And I've written the name of the bird in between my blue lines to help me. Then I've completed my other axes, and the title for this is number of birds seen. Then I've put my scale in. I know from the pictogram that we are counting in fives. So I've started with my 0 at the very bottom, and my numbers sit on the lines. So now we are going to complete the pictogram. If we remember, 20 robins were seen. So I need to show this on the robins column of the bar chart. And all of our bars need to be the same width and have the same gap. So I'm going to use these middle squares in each one. 20 robins were seen. So I'm going to find 20 here on my robins, and I'm going to use my ruler to draw a line. It's really important that you use your rulers to draw the line. Then I'm going to complete my bar. So I've drawn my bar. Once I've drawn that, I'm going to take a colour from my pot of colouring pencils, and I'm going to colour it in, making sure that I stay between the lines. So I've coloured my bar in. I'm going to repeat exactly the same step for pigeon. So I need to remember that I'm going to my middle square out of the 3. Then I look to the information from the pictogram, and I can remember that 35 pigeons were seen. So I'm going to go up to 35, and I'm going to use my ruler to draw a line. And I'm going to draw the lines going down to my axes. Then I'm going to colour it in with a different colour. Then I'm going to repeat the process for sparrow. So I go to the middle square and I put in a little dot there to help remind me where I am going to draw my bar. Then I look to my information from my pictogram and I see that 25 sparrows were seen. So I'm going to read up and use the scale on my axes to help me to draw my line. Then I'm going to join it up to make the bars. Then I colour it in, and I'm going to choose a different colour again to colour it in. Then I'm going to do exactly the same for dove. So I'm going to put a dot in my middle box so I know where I'm drawing it. Then I'm going to look at the information from my pictogram, and I am going to see that 10 doves were seen. So I'm going to read up and use my scale to help me to draw my bar for my bar chart. And I'm going to go down to join up my bar chart. Then I'm going to choose another colour to colour it in. I take my colouring pencil and then I'm going to colour it in. So there is my completed bar chart. So we've just seen how we can use the information from the pictogram to complete a bar chart. What I would like you to do now is to look at the information and explain to your teddy how the table has been used to complete the bar chart. Pause your video. Let's recap. A bar chart has a title. It has 2 axes. Both axes have a name or a title. We have numbers going up in a scale. The numbers are next to the line of the squares in your book. We use a ruler to draw the bars. We need to make sure that the gap is the same between our bars? Answer these questions about the bar chart. So we're going to look at these questions and we're going to answer these questions together. So our first question says, which year group read the most books? So we can look and find the bar that is the tallest. Which is our tallest bar? If we read along our axes here, we can see that the tallest bar is year 3. And we can see that year 3 read how many books? 80. So I can write year 3 equals 80 books. Then I can read my next question. Which year group read the fewest books? So we're looking for our shortest bar. And if we go along, we can see that our shortest bar is year 6. And if we read, across our axes, we can see that they read 30 books. So in here, I'm going to write year 6 equals 30 books. Our next question says, how many books did year 3 and year 4 read all together? We already know that year 3 read 80 books. So the next thing we need to do is find out how many books year 4 read. So I'm going to look along my axes until I find year 4. So I found year 4. I'm going to go up to the top of my bar and then I'm going to read across to my other axes to see that they read 60 books. 80 and 60 equals how many books? Can you solve that for me? If we add 80 and 60, we find the total of 140 books. And our final question, what is the difference between the number of books read by year 1 and year 5? So let's find out which is the tallest bar, year 1 or year 5? Year 5 is the tallest bar. And we can see that year 5 read 70 books. So I need to take away the number of books that year 1 read from this. So if I go to year 1, I can see that year 1 read 40 books. So 70 take away 40 equals, pause the video and solve it for me, children, equals 30. Well done. So the difference is 30 books. Let's read our next question. The astronaut wants to turn his tally chart into a bar chart. What does she need to remember? I want you to have a little think about this and see if you can jot down all of the things that we did to make a bar chart. Pause your video and make a list for me. Let's make a list of things that we need to remember when we are making a bar chart. So we need to make sure that our bar chart has a title. We need to make sure that we have a scale. And just like when we were drawing our pictograms, you need to think about your scales. So your scale could be in ones, it could be in twos, it could be in fives like the pictogram I drew, or it could be in tens, but you need to use the information that you are given so that you have a sensible scale. It needs to have an axis. Oh, and they need to be labelled axes. So we've got a title, we've got a scale, and we've got a labelled axes. The bars need to be the same distance apart. So we need the space between the bars. And we also need to use a ruler to help us to draw our bar chart. So that is your checklist for what you will need to remember when you are drawing your bar chart. Your tasks today. Now it's your turn. Choose between activity 1, activity 2 and activity 3. Then you could challenge yourself with the challenge questions. So, activity 1. Use the table to complete the bar chart. The table shows the favourite colour of children in Year 3. You will need to add bars. You will need to label your axes. And you will need to add a title. Remember to use a ruler when you're drawing it, just like I did. Question 2. Answer the questions about the bar chart. So you've got to answer the question about the bar chart. You need to write your answers in sentences. Activity 3. Use the tally chart to make a bar chart. So remember all the steps that I did to make my bar chart, and you can use this to make your own bar chart to show the favourite drinks. And then you've got some challenge questions. 7. Here is a bar chart to show points scored in a quiz. Team B have more points than Team D, but Team D has fewer than Team C. Complete the bar chart to show how many points Team B and D could have. Question 8. Julia draws a bar chart to show different numbers of children having school dinners. Julia says 44 Year 3 children have school dinners. Is she correct? Explain your answers. Question 9. A class collects data about goals. Draw a bar chart to display this information and remember to choose a suitable scale.